Hello, and how are you doing today? I hope you are doing much better with this nasty flu going around than I have been doing. Can you believe Christmas is just days away? I'm so not even able to process Christmas, and so my mind is. I've not even begun to process Christmas really, it's just creeping up. So I think it will be a very poorly Christmas this year in terms of health, but I'm getting better, and hopefully friends with the flu are getting better. It is not very fun at all, is it? So we're going to try some taste testing. Try to focus on some of the more moist items as well as some more drier ones today. So it evens out, so there's not just drier items in future videos, but also so things are a bit more manageable. I have Oreos, I suppose, sort of moist. Oreos, eggs, salt baked crowd eggs, I think, and then another type of egg product with a pear, and those are the other eggs and some things. So I may not be able to try everything today, but I've put a few things aside, and if I'm not able to try everything, it can roll over because I still have a very large whole bag full of things because I went to 2 international food stores while in Liverpool, so I've plenty of food. So I was never going to taste it all today. We're looking at about 25% today, that's the most, so that's good. And also later on I will be trying some things from Home Bargains or Poundland, one of those two, some Maggi branded noodles. My appetite is getting there, but do you know the expired stomach phase where the virus is more or less ejected, it feels like, but your stomach feels so stale, so off, so expired. You can feel that you're not quite with it still. So let's start with this scenery pear first of all. This was from the Asian Misu supermarket. So it looks somewhat like a pear you'd find in a typical English supermarket, other than the fact that it's quite this is quite a great menu thing. I think it's got an interesting peach-like. I think it may have got a bit bruised during the journey home, but it feels quite firm still. Sadly not overripe. But yeah, it's interesting. That is one big pear, that's a chunky fella. It's still very firm, as you can see. I'm not sure how much riper it is going to get, considering it was it's over a week ago since I purchased it. I don't know, we have very little sun and such this time of year, but the skin is quite tough. The skin, I'm not so much of a fan of, not that pear skin is particularly attractive anyway, but this, I feel like the skin requires a bit more chewing. It's just to do with the ripeness maybe. The actual flesh is okay, a bit too firm still. It could do with ripening up, but it's as a pear goes, it's not the juiciest of pears. Maybe that's due to its variety. It's scenery pear, but yeah, I like the little caddy thing it came in, a little cute little thing. It isn't bad. I feel like the skin is almost akin to cardboard or something. The skin is definitely a bit of a negative, but the actual flavour from the juice, the fruit, it's nice. It's a somewhat familiar pear taste. It's nice enough. I'm sure were it even ripe, if it does get any riper, it would be even nicer. I'm sure it must ripen up further. But if I can make it to the park to feed a squirrel those, or a squirrel or two, those walnuts I purchased while in Liverpool, and I will finish this off while that's the park. It'll help keep me hydrated, and it's a good size. I'm not sure how much it cost. It must have been at least £2, but it's a good size pair. It could do with being a bit softer, a bit juicier, but the actual flash is nice enough. The skin, though, I'm not so keen on the skin, I have to say. That's a bit of a detriment, but otherwise it's more or less a standard pair, just maybe slightly more sour. No, I do like sour, so that can be fine. Okay, now how do I put you back into your little cage for later? We will consume you in a bit. Now, I have salt baked crow legs. I'm not sure if I have ever before had a crow leg in any form, and preserved duck egg. I'm sure I've had duck eggs before a long time ago, maybe fried or something. So let's start with the salt baked crow legs. They come in little pouches, you can see. I just love, from our perspective, the randomness of the products you get in these international stores. You never know what to expect. It's a pretty cute sized crow legs. They're very small as well. I'm not really sure what to expect other than salt, of course. They're going to be somewhat salty, which should be fine if that is not if it is not an overpowering experience. Salt baked crow legs. How does a crow egg differ in base flavour, I wonder? Very curious. They almost look like sweeties. That's interesting. That's really interesting. First of all, the salt is not overpowering, but I could taste the salt before I'd even taken my first bite. I was inhaling salt or something. I suddenly thought, here we go. The salt is not too much. The salt is fine. Yeah, there's a somewhat familiar taste of egg almost. I suppose as though you were eating a boiled egg. So that kind of texture, a slight fluffiness, a slight powdery texture. There's a saltiness, a sort of saltiness rather. Now, what does a crow egg taste like normally without being salt preserved? That's the thing. I'm trying to focus on the crow aspect, but there we go. It's like a boiled egg. Salted boiled egg, I suppose. I really do like that. There are one or two attractive components, not just due to their textures, the boiled egg textures, but the slight saltiness, I guess the general flavour of a crow leg, everything's just coming together, not to create some sort of loud symphony, but they are quite subtle in flavour, and I like that, and they're very small as well, so and each individually wrapped, so just pick one or two up as you feel like it. That's a different snack, and I like that. That's good. That would be good in any kind of lunchbox. That's a very interesting salted boiled egg with a twist recipe. I like that. I can really get behind those. Let's get into these egg roll things. I'm excited to get into these. There we go. Before I run out of storage space on my hard drive, the ongoing catchphrase which will continue into 2026. I like the nice bag, nice pouch. Asian packaging in general always seems to be so attractive. At least when it comes to food, so attractive and just quirky, and they're not afraid of being colourful and eccentric. Oh, okay. This is not quite what I was expecting, but they're in oh, I forgot I was going to try the next egg product, but that's okay. We can have a break. We'll go to cake or egg roll, so still with egg, and then we will go to the preserved duck egg. So, you get more than one. Okay, they're hard. I was expecting something soft. Again, nice packaging, and a beautiful smell is coming forth. There we go. You can tell this is somewhat desserts territory. So they like crepes, maybe? Interesting, not at all what I was expecting. Not much filling inside, but we'll see how they deliver flavour. That is so bizarre. Then this is going to sound bizarre, but as soon as I took my bite, I was reminded of tortilla chips. Yeah, there's a brand of tortilla chips, maybe Sainsbury's branded, maybe cheese flavour. This is going to sound so ridiculous, but these are so reminiscent just going by that first bite. And then, of course, there's some filling of some kind. Cream, non-dairy creamer, flour, sugar, wheat, mango, sweeteners. There's something going on, but yeah, the egg roll base really reminds me of Sainsbury's branded tortilla chips for some reason. I'm serious, there's something very familiar about them. That whole experience really reminds me of eating Sainsbury's branded tortilla chips, really. The way the texture breaks apart the flavour, there's just something, it's a really strange psychological push. If the ingredients are complete opposites, or not complete opposites, I'm sure, but it's really strange, it's really weird. But anyway, there is not a lot of filling, but again, there is something very nice about the overall recipe. Very easy to read, very casually positive. It's very subtle, even more subtle than the what were they? The first lot of eggs, crowd eggs, the preserved crowd eggs, salted boiled crowd eggs, basically. Even more subtle than those. But that's nice. It's very neutral. It's very, well, just slightly above neutral. It's positive. It's very easygoing, very light. So inoffensive. So not loaded with flavour, but very inoffensive and very easy to eat. So nice enough. And now we have preserved duck egg. There we go. I have seen some videos regarding preserved duck eggs on YouTube, and I've read up about the practice on Wikipedia and maybe some external sites. So I do know it has long been a tradition to preserve eggs in this manner, but I cannot say that I've ever had one preserved like this before, so this will be really interesting. As you can see, each egg is in its own individual pouch. Great to serve with rice porridge is the recommendation. Once opened, use immediately. Country of origin, China. Best before date. Let's get an idea of how long they recommend. 12th of March next year, so a good few months. Okay, ingredients. Duck egg 60%. Water, salt, tea leaf, acidity regulator, which is E524. And that's it. So not too many ingredients, if you can see those. I may need scissors for this. Alright, no need for scissors, I can make a incision. It has a slightly, I'm not sure how well you can see this, but there's a slight green tinge. No, it's not really showing, or maybe it's showing up. I suppose due to tea leaves and whatever else. Now, I really need a spoon, I suppose. Uncle Barry did not think about this. Oh no, I think it's coming. This will splatter all over me. Oh, I will try the first one in a second, but I want to squash that one a bit. I will show you what it looks like. If I can do it, but there we go. Just a nice whack. As though opening a boiled egg. There we go. You can see that, I think you can. Yeah, this one's more of a light blue colour actually, baby blue colour. And then we should be able to start, oh, this is going to make such a mess, but I will hoover later. That sounds like the post. Okay, just There we go, you can see that green inner sac there. So yeah, this will be a bit like a boiled egg, I suppose. Funny seeing such a curiously coloured eggshell. Let's just remove a bit more of the egg. A little more. There we go. So you can see a dark green there. Now we may get a bit of eggshell, but if I carefully remove some of this outer sac, we can hopefully minimise consumption of eggshell. So let me know if you've ever made preserved eggs, duck eggs or crowel eggs or any kind of preserved egg in this particular manner, or like how the other eggs were done. Okay, so there we go, that's the flesh there. It's jelly-like flesh. Let's just remove a bit of skin. There we go. A bit more. Yeah, it smells like a boiled egg, I suppose. Let's get a bit more of this skin. Come on. Come on, up you go. There you go. A bit more. Okay. Now let's go in. It's jelly-like. Let's try this first of all. At first I could not really place what I was eating, and then toward the end you have a traditional boiled egg taste. My brain was waking up. I thought, yeah, no, this is a boiled egg. You know what this is. Well, let's try some more. It's definitely a good boiled egg, I'll say that. There's something going in. There is something going on with that inner yolk, that green yolk. Something very, very interesting. Yeah, it definitely has. It again. It's quite subtle. It's a subtle infusion of tea and water and salt, whatever else was chucked in, but it definitely does do something. That's really interesting, you know. Really interesting. And I like it. I like the subtleness. It's a boiled egg, but it's unmistakably altered. It's definitely had a lot of attention given to it. Yeah, I like that. That's different. Now this one, the one I squashed earlier, is yellow, oddly. It's supposed to be yellow? Is there a different flavour going on? That was a very different flavour. That's a completely different species. Wow, what is that? So they're not all cooked the same. This one is more jelly-like, and there's something fishy about this one. not a suspect, but fishy, as in fish, actually fishy. I feel like this has been cooked in seawater or something. This is actually an egg, this is more like seafood. And you can see they're a very different colour. Nice. It is nice and slightly reminiscent of a traditional boiled egg, but this is definitely the loudest of the two. I'm not sure if all four are actually different, if they've had something different put into the water, but this one is the loudest, more eccentric of the two. But both are nice, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, look at this. This one's more jelly-like. Curious. Oh, I have to let you know when I get into the other two whether they are orange, green, blue, purple, yellow. We'll have to see. But very interesting. Very, very interesting. I'm enjoying all of these unique recipes. Unique from my perspective. Very interesting, very delicately salted. If there's something different going on, and after that salt, I feel qualified. I feel justified rather in having something potentially sweet. Luna bakes pineapple cake. Now, pineapple is a good ingredient, I think. We do not use pineapple enough, not in this country anyway. So, oh, that's a nice colour. This could be good with a sponge cake. There's a bit of firmness to it. Very cute sized. Oh, okay, interesting. I will say that you have to work out it. It takes a while for the flavour to come through, but when it does deliver, yeah, a pineapple taste. I wish that the cake itself was not quite so tough. It would be nice if it was a bit softer and not so chewy, but it does deliver in flavour. It's kind of nice. Yeah, citric acid, pineapple-y taste. And at least there's plenty of filling inside, unlike Balcony products. That is a good pineapple cake. I've not eaten a lot of pineapple cakes in my time, but and in terms of size, given the toughness, I suppose this is a good size because it is packed full of flavour. I'm not sure how much it costs, but still, there even now there's an aftertaste of pineapple. It delivers flavour. It's nice. It's the right size considering its toughness, and as I say, it's well filled with pineapple and goodness. It's actually a good cake. I would happily buy that again. That's a good pineapple cake. Makes for a nice refreshing change having something pineapple flavoured. That is gently uplifting that cake. Now for Oreos. These are raspberry and blueberry flavour Oreo cookies. The good old Oreos. Let's see what this flavour does. Okay, get 2 packets inside. In the UK, I suppose in the US, it's normally one large packet, isn't it? Oh, that's good things to go. Let's see what they have to show. We get 5 in each packet, I think, for a total of 10. Classic Oreo look. They smell very fruity, very light. Oh, that's a lovely smell. That's nice. Classic Oreo dark cookie, outer cookie, but I think because the smell really is that beautiful, I'm not sure if the taste of the filling can really compete. The smell is really that nice. Wow. That's a good combination. That is a delight to eat. These are really good. Classic Oreo with a very beautiful and inviting smell. There's not a lot of filling inside, but the smell is more than inoffensive. It's just enticing smell. They are good Oreos, definitely. Okay. Up next we have Raspberry sweets, again from the Misu Asian International Food Store. There's a outer lid and then a ring pull. There we go. Dispose of that. It's a very sharp, those things, very lethal. I'm not sure what smell I was expecting, but that's such a unique smell. I could not possibly have predicted such a smell. That's very unusual. So they look like gummies you might get in England, but made with raspberry. I cannot remember much about the raspberry right now, so it'll be interesting. There's licorice root as well, salt, quite a few sweeteners in the numbers. And it's both sugar and rock sugar. Oh, here we go. Oh, they're hard. Wow. Okay. Juicy. This is a real tough one for me. So, the eating experience, I'm sorry to say, is going to be right at the bottom because they not only are very chewy, that the coating begins to be swept away as you start chewing, of course, but that leaves a seed which you obviously cannot eat, you cannot chew, nor swallow. That would not be safe, so you have to spit out the seed. So that's a bit of a palaver, and I'm not a fan of putting something in my mouth and then removing it. So that's definitely a negative, but the actual flavour is quite nice as you begin to chew what is basically seed covered in fruity coating, licorice coating actually rather. You get that typical licorice taste. It's really nice. It's not overpowering, it's not too much at all, but it's sort of like chewing gum. Once it's served its purpose, you have to remove it because it's a seed. You cannot break down the seed, and it could be dangerous to your teeth and your health to try and chew the seeds. Obviously, you cannot do that. I mean, I appreciate they have different customs and so forth, but from my perspective, that's a strange kind of sweet where you chew, and then, but it's basically a sweet's built around the seed, so you have to remove the seed. Curious. So eating experience, I'm going to have to say, is very uncomfortable, very just unnatural. But what they've done with the flavour is great. The licorice is really good. It's a really clever idea if they could just remove the seed, but retain everything that the seed provides. I'm not sure what it provides other than a solid base, really, or just so that they can call them raspberry sweets. But if the raspberry is bringing any flavour, then that's great. If you could emulate that without having to remove a seed, that's great, because the flavour is there, but the eating experience is definitely not there for me. That's and you get quite a lot of them, so you have to work through these very slowly, which is good. They'll last a while, but the idea of having a sweet that's just a seed covered in licorice, meaning you have to remember to remove the seeds, that's not my preferred way of eating. For some people, it will not bother them at all, so they will be fine with that. But yeah, obviously there are health considerations. But the flavour, I really like what they've done with the licorice. The licorice is really nice, it really is. So that's a tough one. That leaves me in a tough position. Okay, let's look at this reverse dried purple sweet potato. Reverse dried purple sweet potato, whatever next. I do love sweet potato. Let's have a look inside. I love these easy to open pouches. They just make things so much easier. Oh, that's not what I was expecting at all. Look at that dark colour, that lovely dark colour. Wow, that's very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Can we get some ingredients out? Ingredients: purple sweet potato, nothing else. If they're telling the truth. But that's easy to undo. Just tear it down the middle. Not sure what that smell reminds me of. It's a very faint smell. Oh, it's a bit sticky. Suppose you'd expect that. Yeah, I'm a big fan of sweet potato. I'm a big champion. Sweet potato chips, fries, roast sweet potato crisps. You can do so much with sweet potato. It's great ingredients, it really is. It is a shame that it is that much more expensive than the old white potato and even red potato, but it's a great ingredient. Now this feels very sweet like. Okay, we've removed one piece. I mean, it almost looks like spare ribs or something. I have no earthly idea what I've just eaten, but I have never eaten sweet potato like that before. I'm not convinced that it actually was sweet potato. It's nice, but maybe I'm still tasting the licorice from those licorice sweets. They could have told me that this was another piece of licorice and I would have believed them. So they've done something to the fibres. It's really tough. It's the chewiest sweet potato you can imagine, which is quite the opposite of what it normally is. It's indulgently soft. They've firmed up the fibres, the atoms, the molecules. It's really dense, really tough. But sticky and sort of enticing as you chew it. I'm not really sure if there's any flavour. It is a very neutral food, which of course can be a good thing. It is not to say that it is bland, just very innocent. It's just there, but I cannot even, as I say, call upon the usual texture of sweet potato because this is very different. Not worse, just very different. And flavour, I have to sit and think about that one. That's really different. You have never had sweet potato like this unless you have had this before. This is, I don't know what I've done. I suppose I can barely identify it as sweet potato, but only because they told me. It is almost like a candified or sweetified sweet potato, and yet it is supposed to be just sweet potato. Curious, that's really curious. We have a bit of time and hopefully a bit of storage space for a couple more things. Let's look at these LS Big Wave potato chips, tomato flavour, reduced to £1.65, Lay's, aka Walker's. They are potato, 59.6%, palm oil, tomato seasoning, flavouring, about 4 or 5 E numbers. May contain gluten, soybean and milk. Aspartame contains a source of phenylalanine. Phenylalanine, that's a song. The best before date, 8th of December, so a few weeks ago. Well, a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, let's have a look inside. Very big chunky crisps, one of the reasons why I do not normally eat crisps. I'm not supposed to eat them, but they still do not look more menacing than McCoys. McCoys are deadly. If you wanted to invade a land, you'd just send people packets of McCoys crisps and they'd be wincing in pain with broken jaws and stuff. Anyway, yeah, there's a flavour there. Yeah, it's a tomato it is a tomatoey flavour, not the usual tomatoey flavour crisps have, I would suppose. Not that there are many tomato flavoured crisps, but it feels familiar, but it's not incredibly common. This smell. Well, the crisps aren't too hard actually, and there's a bit of spice I think building. Maybe not. I'm not sure. But yeah, they're just very synthetically tomatoey. There was a discreet bit of spice building, I think. Anyway, the flavour's not bad. It's good if you fancy a different sort of flavour, tomato flavour, why not? I'm not the biggest fan of tomatoes, but it's a slightly unusual flavour, slightly less common flavour. And the crisps themselves aren't too hard, so that's good. For Walker's crisps, they're okay. Okay, we come now to our final international food supermarket purchase for today. There's still another bag full of things to try. So this is just for part one. Is it Sichuan pepper? Sichuan. Do the hearty Sichuan pepper. WMXZ crisp. It's a brand. Corn flour, soybeans flour, that's a bit of a strange grammatical dance. Soybean flour, wheat flour, millet flour, palm oil, salt, sugar, water, seasoning, peppercorn powder, cumin powder, enhancer, spices. That sounds good. Anti-caking agents, which is E170I. Seems to have a subheading. 210 grams. Maybe somewhat like Doritos, and we are promised a bit of spice, which should be good. But how spice is delivered can really vary. So let's see. Say I like. Centimetre. Okay, here we go. The smell seems to escape me or something, and then it's most fleeting. Very rectangular, these tortilla corn chip things. Very easy to eat. Quite thin, and from just the first one, that's really small piece. I can feel the spice dancing across my tongue. They are very airy, which is a good thing because I've tried quite a lot already today. This is the final thing, unless I have time for those two airpot noodles. It depends on whether or not I have storage space, but this is one of the last things I'm eating. And yeah, it's really easy to eat them, even as the spice begins to build. It's gathering on my tongue. Okay, so nice. I see some black pepper or peppercorn or something. That last one was a really good one. Where it just collapsed and I was ready to absorb the flavour straight away. That was good. These are nice. These are good. They have a nice amount of spice. Perhaps I should have saved these for another day, given that I'm still feeling poorly, but it might reinvigorate my body, it might wake it up. And they are good, they pack a punch. It's not mind-blowingly, it's not mind-blowingly spicy, but they have quite a consistent spice. A good quality spice, a nice spice. It's not superficial, it's not a jalapeno, it's nice. The tortilla chips themselves are very easy to eat, very light and thin. Really good, and so obviously that means you get exposed to the flavour straight away because you can break them up so easily. Really good. That's a nice spice. I really like that. That's good. That's a lovely way to finish. I'm not sure if I'll have time for the Maggi pot noodles today, but if not, then hopefully tomorrow. So anyway, for this particular video, looking at my Misu supermarket purchases, and maybe we looked at some from the other shop today, but I think they may mostly be in the other bag. But great product anyway. Thank you. Thank you for watching and listening.